Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Hi, my name is Joseph Sangle, and we are committed to your financial success so you can live a fully funded life. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard. Are you fired up today?
I am fired up. Monday before Christmas.
It's December 21st. Can you believe it?
Christmas is Friday. If you are not ready, you have a few more days.
Yeah, hopefully Amazon can still get it to you, whatever you're buying.
I'm sure.
You're sure
Amazon should run everything because they do it so well. Amazon and Chick-fil-A.
This podcast, even though you don't believe it, is not sponsored by Amazon. But I will tell you, it is Christmas in 5 days. It's going to be awesome. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that I think is something that should come up as a topic of conversation as people are out of rhythm, so to speak, and in the holiday season. So tell everybody what the question is that we're going to address with today's episode.
Yes. So today we're talking about how much money do you need to save for college? So our question is, we have 2 children. Our son is 5 and our daughter is 3. We want to begin saving for their college education, but we need some direction. It's our dream to be able to help them each graduate from college without any student loan debt. How much money do we need to save for their college?
Well, a lot. We're going to answer the question like most people. How much you need to retire, how much you need to save for college. It's a lot. That's the number one answer.
Episode
I
over.
can't measure a lot, right? But here's what I know. I'm going to give a little preview answer to this. In just 13 years, their 5-year-old's going to be 18 years old. And in just 15 years, their 3-year-old daughter's going to be 18. And in like just over 16 years, your son, Logan, is going to be 18. Can you believe that?
No.
He's going to be 18. He's going to be a strapping teenage boy. It's going to be unbelievable.
It is
He's probably going to be
wild.
taller than his dad, and that means he's going to be really tall.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
He's tall.
And so, sorry to make you cry here right before Christmas, but I think it is important because this is that season of year where people reflect, and it's also a time where they start to, their mind looks at the dumpster fire that 2020 was, and they're like, hey, we're going to let's start planning with hope for 2021. And this should be a topic of conversation. If this is a dream of yours to help with college for your kids or your grandkids, listen up. I think we'll have something that's going to be really helpful for you.
Yep.
But first, we have our favorite part of the podcast, at least my favorite. It's where I get to sing. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
This portion of the podcast is sponsored by 0% interest balance transfer credit card page at I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you're paying high interest on a credit card balance, you cannot pay off each month. This is a great way to eliminate all the interest and speed up your way to debt freedom. So check it out at iwbnin.com, click on the Next Steps section, and then from that, select 0% credit cards.
That's great. Thanks for that. And so for today's current money event section, did you like that? Nailed it.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about ending the year well. We've got 10 more days this year. If you're listening on the day, which most people wait with bated breath, they cannot wait. They download it and listen to it instantly, which is awesome. You got 10 more days for the rest of the year. And I want to talk about ending it well because almost every person, I would almost say every person, I think it's appropriate to say every person who's listening to the podcast has experienced loss in 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, they've lost something that they look forward to, or like, for example, a loss of a vacation or a special trip.
We lost that this year.
You lost that.
Yeah.
I lost that. Loss of time with a loved one. So many people they have not been able to go hug their mom or dad, their grandma or grandpa for 10 months,
Yeah.
9 months, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Loss of job or income. Happened to so many. Loss of stability. It's like the whole earth underneath us is like wobbly and things change. At some point in time, it seemed like it's changing daily. Loss of investments or investment value. The market has recovered, but that doesn't mean individuals' investments have recovered, small businesses. The loss of an opportunity to invest as the market went back up. No matter what has happened, people have experienced loss. And so I'm going to put on my counseling hat here and say, can I encourage you, the listener, to spend some time grieving the losses? I think it's okay to grieve. It's like give yourself permission to be sad, angry, frustrated. I mean, were you frustrated when you had to cancel your trip?
Yeah, this is the 4th time we've tried to reschedule this.
Since it was canceled the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you deal with denial, like this cannot be, like this is not possible. No, this is going to be better. And then it's like, okay, now I'm angry. Now I'm frustrated. And that's part of grieving. It's all of those emotions are parts of dealing with grief.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine recently said, we're all living lives of ungrieved losses. And so I think it's really important that we give ourselves permission to grieve and experience those emotions and feel them in their entirety. Because if we don't take time to grieve, we won't enter next year as healthy as we approach the potential of a new year. And so I encourage you to end the year well, and it just might need to start with allowing yourself to grieve. Yeah. Thoughts that you might have?
Yeah, and I mean, I think I just want to be super sensitive to this because I know, like, I lost a trip, you lost a trip. I mean, we've lost stability, we've lost investments, we've lost all this stuff, but can't fathom going into Christmas with the loss of a loved one. Whether it was from COVID or not from COVID, it's still challenging. And I know, I've lost people, you've lost people. It just changes the holidays. And so we want to be extra sensitive to that. And, if you're going through that, we, come alongside you guys, and we're so sorry. And, we're all hopeful that 2021 is going to be a better year, and hopeful that it is.
We dare not say, how could it get worse?
Let's not say that. So, but hopefully as you're going into Christmas this week, you're able to spend some time reflecting on these things, and whatever any of those you and your family have gone through, spend some time thinking about them and grieving about them, but then also spend some time planning and getting excited and hopeful for the future about what a new year or a new season or, what this upcoming year could be. Yeah. And being hopeful for that.
100%. And so I appreciate those words. And we do want to say it is the most wonderful time of the year, but it is okay to allow yourself to go through these stages of grief as well. We've all lost something. Some of us have lost much more. So with that said, that ends the current money events section. And let's move on to talk about a success story. Yes. So share that.
Great segue. All right. Our success story today comes from Mike and Chonda, and they participated in our budget challenge. So we have a 40-day budget challenge that they joined us for. And this is what they shared at the halfway mark, so the 20-day mark. They said, we are seeing the difference it makes to use cash envelopes, looking each day for us at what is upcoming and what has transpired in our finances. Last month, we had 2 large expenses that were put on our charge card. Our goal is to never pay interest, but this amount was over $1,600. With our new budget, we have already paid $500 towards it, and we will pay at least another $700 this month. Our number one goal is to have 1 month living expenses by the first of the year.
That's awesome. I mean, I love this success story because it speaks to a couple of the success tools. Like I heard the word budget. I heard the word cash envelopes. 2 of the most important things that help me get control of my money, stop wild impulsive spending, to build margin, to be able to keep margin. I mean, all of those things are huge. And so, I think this is awesome. Even in a year of a pandemic, someone took the initiative to say, we're going to look at this as an opportunity to reset our finances. We're going to have a budget. We're going to take the budget challenge. They sought help, and they joined the I Was Broke, Now I'm Not budget challenge, and they're experiencing great success already. So I know that they're looking forward to the next year with great hope and energy.
And I think what I love about this story is it's reality. So they were on this path, and then life happened, which is what we always say, which is why we say it's important to save money. And so I think it just speaks to the reality of things that happen and why it's important to have saved money, why it's important to have a budget, why it's important, all these things that we talk about over and over again. They're speaking and living this of why it was important to be prepared for these moments to happen. So I just think that's really great because we all know those large expenses happen. We all know big things occur. We all know stuff comes up that we can't predict. No one could have predicted this year. No one could have predicted the job loss. No one could have predicted, all these things that happened, but why it's so important to be prepared. And I think their story really speaks to that of they were prepared, they were proactive, they joined the budget challenge, they were doing these things to kind of get them ready.
That really triggers a thought for me. One of the things that I think is a valuable gift that I have is that I don't know why, but when I'm faced with a challenge, it will throw me back. It'll knock me back. But at some point in time, I'm able to flip the switch that says, I kind of get angry inside and says, no way am I going to allow that to keep me knocked back. And it causes me to lean in to the uncomfortable stuff. And that's what Mike and Chonda have done, is they've taken a look at this uncomfortable thing, which is putting together a budget, facing negative spending habits or behaviors, and they've taken control. And there's nothing like being in control of your finances. So thanks, Mike, Chonda, for sending in your success story. We're fired up about it. So now we come to the moment where we get to answer the question. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I really do encourage everybody who's listening to continue listening, but also make a moment to note that, hey, somewhere around the 13 or 14 minute mark of the podcast, you're going to want to watch an example that we're going to do on YouTube. Being able to see it is going to be helpful too.
Yep.
So I wanted to mention that.
All right. So just to remind you guys, our featured question for today, we have 2 children. Our son is 5 and our daughter is 3. We want to begin saving for their college education, but we need some direction. How much money do we need to save for their college? It's our dream to be able to help them each graduate from college without any student loan debt.
Well, I love this question. I believe it's an excellent and a noble conversation.
Yes.
I mean, it is a noble thing to say, I want to help my kids. That's what we're kind of crazy about our kids. We're wired that way. And I share the same desire. And I'm sure you share that same desire, right? I'm answering for you. You do?
I do. We have a 529 for Logan.
There we go. That's great. And so, way to reveal the big reveal.
Sorry.
529. But we have this desire that our children graduate from college without any debt. Now, I have 3 children, so this is a monumental goal. And I'm happy to report that my firstborn is completing her 3rd year of college, and she has $0 in student loan debt. She's really happy about it. We even have enough money in her college fund to ensure she's going to graduate without any debt, as long as she doesn't get crazy and stop focusing and stop passing classes. I don't think she will. She likes to go to class.
She's pretty focused and driven.
So you need, first, if you're going to talk about this, we need to talk about choosing an investment vehicle to fund their education. And the most popular by far is the 529 plan. Now, the 529 college savings plan is the most popular college investment option because of some key features. So the 529 college savings plan features, let's tell everybody about them. Share the first one with everybody.
The first one is tax advantaged.
That's right.
Big deal.
Big deal. So what does that mean? It means it has advantages related to your taxation. And I like any and all legal tax advantages. For those familiar with the I Was Broke Now I'm Not ladder, this is a part of rung 6 and rung 8, tax advantage investing. Your 529 investments grow
tax-free.
Tax-free.
You can believe it. Yeah.
That's great news. The government leaves their hands off of it when and if it grows, which it should.
Hopefully.
Over time, it grows free of taxes. And if you live in states that charge state income taxes, there's some people, they don't even know that some states have no state income tax, like Wyoming, like Texas, like Florida, if you live in a state with taxes, however, some or all of your contributions to your state's 529 plan are usually able to be deducted also. Like we live in South Carolina. You participate in the Future Scholar 529 plan. That's a South Carolina plan. And contributions to that, up to $2,000, are able to be deducted from your state income taxes, which means it's tax-free money that goes in, state tax-free, and it's tax-free all the way through into college. That's awesome. So, and you can use the money for all qualified educational expenses free of taxes. So that's what we mean. It's tax advantage. Feature number 2 is?
Yes. So number 2 is able to use at any accredited college or university within the United States or its territories.
That's right.
So maybe you want to go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you can go to Puerto Rico. It's a United States territory. As long as it's an accredited college or university. That's really important. There are some colleges that are not accredited. They must be accredited.
Yeah.
So as long as they're accredited, that means that if you contributed to Virginia's 529 plan, which is the largest in the nation, it doesn't mean your student has to attend school in the Commonwealth of Virginia. They can go to Purdue University or to NC State.
That's right.
Or to Clemson University. That's our alma maters. But that's a huge deal. You can use it in any of the states. Now, this is different from a prepaid tuition plan for that state. Okay, I don't want to. It's a 529 plan. Very important. Okay, tell them feature number 3.
Yep. So number 3 is the contributor owns the 529 account, not the student.
This is such good news. So if you put the money in the account, you control where that dollar goes, not the beneficiary, the student who's receiving it. So you get to control the flow of dollars, and you can change the beneficiary of the account. But you can only have one beneficiary at a time. So answering this person's question, who has a child who's 3, a daughter, a son who's 5, there's a high likelihood that they're going to be in college at the same time. So I would recommend separate 529 plans for each child.
Yeah.
Okay. So just to clarify for me, I have a child who's a front runner, I call her. She's way out in front of the other children. So she's kind of like 21 right now. And then I've got a 10-year gap to the 10-year-old who's almost 11. And then I've got a 3-year gap to my 7-year-old daughter. So here's the deal. I only have 2 529 plans. Why? Because I consider the plan that my daughter is currently using for college. If she's still in college when my son goes 8 years from now, she ought to be doctor, something. So what am I going to do? I'm going to rename him as a beneficiary. But because he and the 7-year-old are going to be in school at the same time, most likely 3 years apart, I have a separate plan for my youngest daughter.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the good news is, to answer the question, how much do they need? Well, we have an app for that.
We got a tool just
the great
for
news
you.
is it is located at iwasbrokenowimnot.com/college. So if you go to iwasbrokenowimnot.com/college, you can find the calculator. And this is where I'm going to demonstrate it on YouTube what this looks like. So the Saving for College calculator, you can literally click Get Started and ask you questions that you will know. So for example, how old is your child? Well, we're going to answer it for the 5-year-old real quick. Yep. We slide it. It's a simple slider. And it's 5 years old. And there's a spot for you to put in your expected scholarships per year, both athletically and academically. Do you think Logan's going to get an athletic scholarship?
I do.
Yeah, what sport?
It's hard because every now and then he likes playing basketball. We have like a little hoop at home he likes to do.
It's awesome.
But he's really good at kicking.
Okay.
Like the ball. And then he's like great at throwing. I don't know, maybe baseball.
Maybe baseball?
I feel like that kind of combines.
It'd be hard to kick a baseball.
Well, yes, I understand.
Maybe football, maybe soccer. He's going maybe a classic 3-sporter.
I'm gonna maybe not the football route, but
you can put in
yes.
the athletic scholarships or academic scholarships you think your child's going to get. And you know, my daughter has been blessed with a substantial athletic and academic scholarship. Yeah. But I'm going to say I don't know anything about this 5-year-old. And while I know they're amazing and above average, I'm just going to put 0. Just in the off case they don't want to play the sport or whatever. And then we also,
gifted.
the fourth thing is to answer the question, what is the current annual cost of the target school? So today's dollars, we're not asking you to say into the future. And we actually list, helpfully, what the average in-state public school cost, in-state private, and then out-of-state public and private. And so let's say they're going to in-state public school, and right now that's $21,950 for a year.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's the cheapest option, by the way. And then we're going to put in there the annual inflation rate that we believe the school cost will be affected. So we leave it at 4% based on history. And then you can click the forward arrow, and then you can say the current amount you have in your college investment account. This person did not tell us that they have anything saved, so we're going to put 0. And they didn't say what they're contributing, so we're going to put 0. And then you can adjust the expected growth rate of your college investment. So we like to use 8% to estimate conservatively, and we hit submit. Are you ready?
I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah. It's more than $4. In fact, a 5-year-old is going to need how much money?
The 5-year-old is going to need $169,900.
That's the 3-year-old. How much does the 5-year-old need?
Oh, sorry. Wrong one. So, what? Okay, $156,929. $156,929.
That's not right.
I'm looking at
So
the wrong
you're looking at the
one.
wrong one. So it's $156,000, $819. So $156,819. That is awesome.
Happy Monday.
So it's a Monday. So the 5-year-old needs that. Now the 3-year-old is going to need more because
I got
inflation.
you on this one.
So we went ahead and plugged in these numbers so that Megan can tell you what they are.
Apparently it didn't work.
Read much.
Yes. So the 3-year-old, I was wondering why the numbers were so different down there. All right. The 3-year-old is going to need $169,858.
Yeah. So let's just round them. You don't need $157,000 for the 5-year-old. This is without any help, no scholarships, athletically or academically, and $170,000 for the 3-year-old. Get fired up. You put those together, it's kind of almost $330,000. Woo! Is it still your dream to help your kids with college? However, most schools do give scholarships at some level. And one of the things that we did is we have a calculator. It's the I was broke, now I'm not calculator. That is called the monthly investment calculator. And you can back into how much you need to contribute per month. And so we're going to pull that up here on the website and demonstrate that to you. Yep. So the annual rate of return, we're going to put in 8%. And we have 156 months until the 5-year-old goes to school. That's 13 years. And they have $0 current value. And when you run around different numbers, well, you can land on a number per month that if they contribute and it grows at 8% compound annual growth, it'll achieve the $157,000. How much money? We're going to answer the question. We like to answer the question. How much per month to achieve that full amount?
So the 5-year-old is going to need $757 a month for
how much?
$575.
$575.
What did I say?
That's right. You said $757. So $575.
I'm literally looking at the numbers.
It's awesome. We're all going to root for in her bifocals and progressive lenses. It's going to be awesome. It's $575 a month to achieve $156,000. It's $491 a month.
You didn't even let me try that one.
For the 3-year-old. Okay. So here's what I want the listener to know. Those seem like huge numbers. I mean, they are huge numbers. When you add that up, that's like $1,080 a month. And I don't know too many parents of a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old who says, hey, let's pitch $1,000 a month in their retirement account, let alone their kid's college fund.
Yeah.
So here's what I would tell you. This is another reason for you to be motivated to help your child obtain scholarships. And I would just give you a little side note. Let your kids specialize in a sport not many kids go specialize in. Because all of a sudden, there are colleges who will really want that person and they don't have as much competition. It's awesome. You know, I don't know if in underwater basket weaving aerobics. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's a big scholarship if you're the best at that. I made that up, but I will just say the final thought is don't give up just because you calculated a large number. Do what you can. Are you willing to share how much you contribute per month for Logan's college every month?
Yeah. Right now we are at $50 a month.
$50 a month.
Yep.
So when you look at a 0 behind 50 to 500,
yeah,
it's like like makes the hair blow back off your head, right?
Yeah.
And I will tell you, when I started my daughter's college fund, I waited till she was 4. So I had a 4-year gap. You started when Logan was a baby.
Yep.
So there's money in there now.
Yes,
is there money in there?
There is money
and
in
it's
there.
growing. It's probably 4 digits, over $1,000 already.
It's growing, yeah.
Which is amazing. So I started with $100 a month. And when I paid off all of my non-house, non-business debt, that rung 4 debt, I bumped it to $200 a month. That's what I did. And I had one daughter for 6 years. And then, my son showed up. And so I increased the contribution to their account. And so I think it was about $250 a month then. So that's $3,000 a year. And I'm like, I know this won't get all the way there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep doing this consistently. And then in 2013, I paid off my house at age 38. And 10 days later, found out we had a surprise daughter on the way. And so I said, I'm going to take this house payment money and I'm going to take a good portion of this and I'm just going to fund the college fund as much as I can for the next year.
Yeah.
I have other plans for this money after that, but for the next year, I'm going to pound it. And so I went to $650 total a month because I was debt-free, including my house. So I'm going to give vision to you because I was able to pay off my house in 2013 before my daughter got to college. So it's huge, and I'm going to talk about that a little more in a minute. But as a result, when we went to go look at college for my daughter, even with that $100 a month starting age 4 and then $200 a month when she was about 5, and then going to this $650 a month, it was 6 figures in her account. 6 figures. And so I just say, don't begrudge the season of small beginnings because I've never met anyone who regretted saving even small amounts of money But I have, however, and I bet you have, met loads of people who've regretted saving nothing.
Yeah.
Looking at their beautiful child in the eyes and saying, you're on your own. I mean, and that's okay to do. But if it's your dream to do that, man, I want you to be able to do that. So tell everybody another thought that we want to help them with.
Yeah. So the next one, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but increase contributions as you eliminate debt. You kind of hit on that one a little bit. Did you want to add anything else?
Yeah, I want to add to that.
Okay.
Increase contributions as you eliminate bills and debts. So this can provide additional energy for you to focus on getting rid of your debt. When you recognize that, hey, what I'm doing on rung 4 of the ladder, which is eliminate all non-house, non-business debt, that this is going to allow me to as soon as I'm done with that, to go to rung 5 and build my emergency fund to at least 3 months worth of expenses. But now I can really start loading up my retirement fund and my kids' college fund. Okay? And so let's give one additional thought, and that is just to throw you for a loop and leave you hanging for a little. I mentioned it briefly. What if you purchased a rental house and put it on a 15-year mortgage? I'm talking about specifically for the person who emailed us. That 3-year-old in 15 years would be how old? 18 years old. And the house will be paid off.
Yeah.
And you could take that rental house. Who paid off most of the rental house? Your renters. And then you could sell that house. Let's say you bought a $100,000 rental house, put $20,000 down into it. I know that's a lot of money. But the other $80,000 got paid off by your renters, and 15 years from now, that house is worth $140,000. You could sell that $140,000 house and maybe have your full college fund, and the total amount you ever put in was $20,000. Get fired up. So just going to leave you there, things that make you think. Any thoughts you want to add?
I mean, as you're talking about it, I think it would be crazy if you can't predict the future, but if you knew where your child wanted to go, or if your child's getting a little bit closer and they've like always wanted to go to Clemson. Like a lot of people here always want to go to Clemson. So if you bought the rental house in the area,
then they could live in it.
Then they could live there,
wow,
which would be cool. But then you don't want to like limit your child to like, you can only go to this one school. But maybe there's a school that they like
some people
want
listening
to go to.
do want to limit their child, just so you know.
So maybe buy a rental house there.
I know
incentive.
some families, the whole family has went to the same school.
Yeah.
But so I would just encourage you, have the conversation as you're driving back and forth to the different small Christmas gatherings you're going to, and say, hey, are we on track? Can we bump it up $20? Can we bump it up $15? What can we do to continue moving forward and making progress on this dream? And if you have grandparents who really love the grandkids, hey, you can tell them, hey, you can make a contribution to the kids' college fund. And grandparents seem to love doing that. Mm-hmm. So it's another idea.
All right.
Awesome.
So our verse for today is Proverbs 4:7, and it says, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding.
And I like to share that verse because it says, though it costs all you have, get understanding. Like, go get wisdom. In colleges, that's what you're doing. You're getting wisdom. And it costs you pretty much all you have. And so, but it's worth it. It's what it says. It's worth it to get understanding. So tell everybody what we're going to talk about in our final episode of 2020.
Yes. So our next episode, we're going to talk about preparing for a new year, if you can believe it. So we're going to be focusing on how to help you say the loudest goodbye to one of the most challenging years ever.
Goodbye, 2020.
And how to set yourself up for one of the best years ever.
Awesome.
We're going to speak it prophetically.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's going to be great.
And if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You can simply leave a quick review, and you can also click the subscribe button in YouTube. Give us that thumbs up. Make a comment. Even if you hated something, you can say you hated it. We're fine with people disagreeing. Sometimes we disagree with ourselves. But what we want more than anything is for you to have a very Merry Christmas 5 days from now, and all the different celebrations you go to. Remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. We get fired up, and we can't wait. Next week, final episode of the year. See you.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.